Let's look at some more chord tricks for rhythm and lead guitar. It's great to have chord shapes within a few fret area. A, E, F sharp minor, D, A, E, F sharp minor, and D. A, E, F sharp minor, D. Those are just some shapes I like to use for rhythm and lead lines. Let's break it down. So right here we're looking at an A, which would be 11, 9, 10. This is an A chord, the triad for an A. E, just borrowing on the D, G, and B strings on the 9th fret. E, F sharp minor. The root is right there in the 9th fret of the A string. And it's the same as the A chord, but just has the F sharp note on the root here. And then just extending your pinky here, 12 on the D, 9 on the G string, and then 10 on the B string. So this is great for rhythm. But also for even lead lines. Just simple arpeggios within those triad shapes, but rhythm and lead options are endless, even with this little block of notes here. I like to hammer and pull off of some of these for sure. You can hammer on this also. Just taking your 3rd finger off of there, hammering on from 9 to 11 on the G string, keeping this chord intact though. And then hitting the D note in the 12th fret, back to 11 for the C sharp note, which is in the A chord. Another one I really like to use, and these are all movable. I'm hitting a few open strings, but everything I'm doing in the key of A is definitely movable to other keys. Even with this, I got a dotted 8th on there. I'll leave a link to the pedal board demo I did recently to just show you how I get all my sounds here. But just having that rhythmic delay, kind of choking it out with a little bit of muting here. Let me shut that off to show you this. But we're looking just at a power chord basically. You have a 7 on the D, 9 on the G string, and then 10 on the B string. So A, E, and A. In this case, I'm hitting the open A with it, so it sounds big. You don't have to. And then just moving your pinky down 1 fret, which actually gives it the sound of like an E suspended, adding this A. It sounds a little dissonant right here, but it really works well with an E chord within a band situation. So you leave the chord in place and just move your pinky down 1 fret to 9. And then move it back and add this root on the 9th fret of the A strings, the F sharp root. F sharp minor 7. And then you're going, when you pull off, you leave your pinky on 10 here and just bar on the 7th fret of the D, G strings. And that's a D power chord, basically. But this especially with some rhythmic delay, and also with just more of a lead line situation. Just using notes within that and a little bit of vibe there, that it just, you can play around that stuff, and it's a simple way to outline the chords and have rhythm and lead options right at your fingertips here. Let me show you one more. Just using the basic chord down here, A chord, but you're adding your pinky here in the 5th fret of the B string. Sounds huge. And a lot of times I'll actually bar these in the B and E strings on the 5th fret. Sounds huge that way. So that shape, E, and this sounds really big, and I'll show you in a second. But you're really hitting the 2 notes in the E chord here on 2 of the A, 2 on the D string, then 4 on the G, and then your pinky still here on the 5th fret of the B string. So A, E, F sharp minor is just taking those 2 fingers off and hitting that F sharp note in the 4th fret of the D string, and then barring, you can bar all those strings on the G, B, and E strings on the 2nd fret for the full chord. I sometimes just mute the E string, but, and then going to the D, all you gotta do is add your finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. All together, A, E, F sharp minor. They're all right there. Your finger really just stays in each fret there. But again, also you have the options of playing to some simple lead lines. You can just play around with the notes within that to create some simple lead lines around the vocals, just simple melody lines. Again, I'll leave a link in the description for my pedal board breakdown just to let you know how I get some of these sounds I use. So when I get a chord chart at worship rehearsal, and it's just a lot of these chord progressions are real similar to what I just showed you, but all these, I can look down at the fretboard and see these groups of notes, and just ideas will start to come to you if you have these under your fingers. And again, these are movable, totally movable. If we just move everything 2 frets down, we're looking at G major. Just 2 frets down would be G major, D major, E minor 7, and then adding your pinky would make a C, add 2 basically, but a C chord. And the same thing, F. Also, you can add your pinky to that type of situation. This C note would go with every chord. And you can hit that A note there. This gives it some dissonance, but sounds great within a band situation. I hope you got something from these movable chord shapes here. Thanks for hanging out with me, and remember, God is good.